chances are some of you have read it, but for those who did not, let me briefly talk about what happens in the book. It is about a shepherd in Spain that has a dream about finding treasure in Egypt. And it is a very, very strange dream, to the point that he believes that this is what he should be doing with his life. And so he sells everything he has and embarks on what ends up being a very lengthy and difficult journey to find this treasure from his dreams. That is the premise. Now, the concept of this book is that everyone has some sort of calling or purpose in life, and in this book it is called personal legend, and you can either follow that personal legend or you don't. Most people do not. As soon as our main character, the shepherd, starts following this legend, he faces a lot of difficulties, and everything happens rather quickly in the book. His thought processes are kind of quick, which this is a short book, so all of the emotions are described kind of like very quickly, but he thinks to himself, well, either I could be bitter that God, I think he talks about God in this, told me to go on this journey, and now I'm facing all these difficulties, and I can be bitter about it, or I will accept it and I will continue. And he faces a lot of difficulties, but then through those difficulties he becomes a better, or just a different person, and he meets people that he otherwise would not choose to follow that calling. And maybe they do when things get too difficult. I would like to believe that all of us have a reason why we were put down on earth. That there is some sort of higher purpose that we should fulfill. But sometimes I cannot help but be a little doubtful, because I remember about the times when I was called to do something and it ended up being one of the worst lessons I've ever went through. Because, well, that actually happens in this book too sometimes. The shepherd decides to trust people that actually really betray him and just prolong his journey. But I guess that is the part of the journey as well, right? I think I have to be a little personal now. And usually I talk about these things only on my Patreon, so if you like this sort of thing, you can consider joining my Patreon family. But for example, one of the callings that I had in my life from a very young age was that I wanted to live abroad, and I did. And now I'm in a preparation to live abroad again, semi-permanently or permanently, depending on how it will go. And I wholeheartedly believe that that is what I should be doing in order to progress in life, or to make certain things happen that should happen. Only my closest friends know, by the way, that I've been preparing, and my Patreon family, they know as well. But I cannot help and wonder if I'm not making a mistake, because even though I'm doing something that I think is right for me, it goes against what everyone else is doing around me. And it might be actually illogical to a lot of people, just like in this book, the shepherd decided to embark on a journey to find treasure in Egypt. That would seem illogical to a lot of people, right? And they just cannot understand. And I didn't realize how isolating making choices for you can be. Not because people would necessarily have a problem with that, but now they don't exactly understand my intentions either. And people, or humans, they don't like things they cannot understand, so they think like, oh, she's a bit, and I'm okay with that. That is another thing that I think comes with following what you believe is right. You have to be okay with people not agreeing with you, not supporting you, or even trying to demolish your plans. And if you have watched my always this voice in my head saying, like, you're not good enough. Why do you even think that you can actually do this? What makes you think that you're better than people that have tried and failed? Yeah. And that doesn't mean that I cannot try. That doesn't mean that I cannot put in the effort into perfecting my craft. But I don't know if there's a purpose for me. Am I just doing this because I want to, or because there is some sort of calling that I feel that maybe in the future I could publish a book, right? Like, I don't know that. We cannot know that. Just like the shepherd in this book doesn't know if he will actually find the treasure, if there is actually a reward in the end for all these hardships and sufferings. If there's one thing that I've noticed in the last few years when I came back on this journey again, it is that it is going to be very difficult. Very difficult. Because when I was going against what I believed was right for me, life felt easier. It really did. Because maybe it was because I fitted in easily, or just I don't think that I really faced a lot of really, really difficult problems. Of course, the ultimate problem was that I was doing something that I didn't believe was right for me. That was like the ultimate problem. But then all the hardships that I'm facing now, they just didn't exist back then. It is not an easy journey, let me tell you something. In fact, I would believe that in the last few years, when I again started to lean into things that I feel called to do, I feel like I lost a lot. I lost a lot of things. You know what they say, once you make a decision, the universe will try to make a I cannot fail in. I was actually failing myself by making mediocre choices. I ended up with a very mediocre life by not risking anything. I didn't gain anything. And most importantly, not taking action, not making a decision, and not choosing something is also choosing something. By not taking action, you're choosing to be in the same place where you are right now. Not choosing something is choosing the opposite. So, do I know if I will fail? No. Do I know that life actually has a meaning and my path has a meaning? No. But I'm still choosing to do it anyways. And with that, I'm ending this perhaps a strange video. Kinda different. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.